And here we are, coming at you with the final week of the League of Extraordinary Trainers Season 10 Ultra Ball Conference, Week 9. So this week we are fighting the Jersey Blue Kinglers, headed by HydroxideAnt. And he brought Hitmonchan, Comfey, Flygon, Raichu, Wartortle, and Shuckle. And I decided to bring Vileplume, Xurkitree, Cryogonal, Flareon, Swoobat, and Claydol to this fight. So already immediately, his team terrifies me. I've got two potential setup sweepers that I absolutely hate the idea of having to try and fight in Comfey and Flygon. Otherwise, we still have things that I'm going to have a hard time breaking. And Evilite Wartortle sounds like a nightmare to try and fight. I mean, I've got Xurkitree, but he's not going to keep Xurkitree in on that thing. He can swap to a possible Lightning Rod Raichu. He can swap into Flygon. I mean, if he does the Raichu, all I do is feed its special attack stat. And then it'll turn right around and starts destroying me. Well, that's alright. We've got what I have to deal with, so. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this battle started. See what I decided to start with. Alright. And seems like I'm taking a little bit of time to try and sort out too during the video as well. Yeah, I don't know who a good lead for this team would be. I think he has Shuckle as the hazard setter. He can get both, in fact, I think he gets all 4 hazards. Stealth Rocks, Sticky Web, Spikes, Toxic Spikes. I think it gets all of those. So it could be running any combination of them. Or, if he's feeling really bold, all of them. But anyways, of course, leading Shuckles doesn't seem like a great idea to me, in my mind anyways, so I don't think he's doing that. But, suppose with that being said, let's see what he decided to do. He leads with Sparkles, which is the Flygon. And we went with Swoobats. So this is actually a fantastic start. Because even if he's set up, if he takes the turn to set up, I set up at the same time, I probably KO him after that. And if he didn't, like he just did, he'd hit Sash, and I'll still be faster than him. Except for the fact that he went first this turn, which means that he has Scarfed this thing, which I think will play out nicely for me. At least better than what Dragon Dance might do, but oh well. The only problem is that it renders Swoobat useless against this Flygon. Now, Swoobat is probably going to be useful against something else. And he's locked into Rock Slide, so there was no point in keeping Swoobat in just to get KO'd. He learned that it is set up, but honestly, if I get a super effective move off, that won't matter. Because I'll be faster than the Wartortle, I can be faster than the Shuckle. But yeah, there was no way he was staying in with that Flygon with how little damage he was doing. And now he sent in Baby. And calling that, I actually hit Toxic. Which is really nice on something like Shuckle. Because this thing has a tendency to stay on the field longer than it should. But if we can get it down all the way without sacrificing Claydol, that would be a really good thing, because then the hazards it puts up are going to be entirely worthless. Alright, it looks like I brought the same Flareon as I did from the last battle, although I think it looks like I swapped Fire Fang for Flare Blitz instead. Probably good considering how much that Munchlax was a pain, just because I wasn't dealing enough damage. Alright, but there's the Stealth Rocks. Part of the reason why I swapped Flareon in first, I bet. And Shuckle shouldn't be able to do much to Flareon. Unless this is one of those really weird ones that that does Power Swap. Because then we've got loads of problems. Anyways, attempting to set up on this thing. Because, you know, Shuckle is pretty much setup bait. Alright, Stealth Rocks and Sticky Web, so we definitely need to get Claydol in here at some point to get rid of both of those. But Shuckle's got to eat Toxic. Even with leftovers, it's going to take it a while. And Flareon's still going to be faster than this thing forever, just like it was with Munchlax. So, we'll get Curse, another defense boost, and even if this thing's gonna run an attack, I mean, right now he is letting me set up. I don't know if he thinks that Wartortle's going to be enough to deal with Flareon or not. Whoa-choo! Alright, well, that is definitely something that we can get rid of. Though we do have to watch out. Raichu does get access to Surf at this point, which is absolutely nightmare in terms of coverage. So ground types are absolutely a no-go against Raichus at this point. And yep, there's the Surf. Now this Flareon is definitely bulky for special defense, so we were able to take that because it wasn't Stab. And it wasn't Choice Specs like the last Raichu I fought, so it didn't deal nearly enough damage. It was Focus Sash, though. And it was static. So we could have used an electric attack, but we bluffed it. Or, we got bluffed on that. My opponent could have bluffed that. Until it swapped it in, which he wouldn't have. He would have just swapped in the Flygon and proceeded to outpace me, probably. But we got a pretty lucky burn on the Raichu. And now we've got Wartortle in. So we've got enough curses up that we'll live an attack from this thing. My main concern is with being paralyzed, though. Oh yeah, if it's running physical moves, yeah, Flareon is not going to care too much. Until the paralysis. My lord. I swear, this Flareon hates paralysis more than anything else. Okay. Well, with that being said, Flareon might have some use later if we can clear the hazards. If not, we can send it in to kind of keep something in, I guess. Like sacking it on the rocks if we need to. And there's Sticky Webs, but Vileplume doesn't care. And we're eating a Waterfall pretty easily and possibly spreading Effect Spore. Yep, and now we've also put a timer on the Wartortle, which is nice. And Wartortle, unless it's running Rest, doesn't have Recovery. And now he's going to swap that thing out because he can't do anything else with it. It's pretty fruitless for him to try and hit Vileplume if he's running Physical. So out goes Fluffy, and comes in the Shuckle again. And predicting the switch on that, it looks like I hit Corrosive Gas, which now gets rid of the Shuckle's leftovers, so even better with Toxic. I mean, I'm not sure what the Shuckle's going to actually do here other than waste my turns. We won't recover too much HP from Shuckle, unfortunately, because it doesn't have much to begin with. But we're dealing damage. Oh, knockoff. That's why it's here. It wants to get rid of my Black Sludge. Which is very fair. You don't want something with a recovery move to have even more recovery with its item as well. But if that's all that he's got going on, then we can just go ahead and put Claydol in and use this opportunity to rapid spin. Because he wasn't going to run knockoff again. There's no point. And that was a crit. So let's see here. Yeah, this guy has no way of healing because that's 2 hazards and then Rock Slide and knockoff. Now I'm debating between setting up my own hazards or making sure that they're gone. This is my best opportunity to make sure that they're gone, which is something that matters to me more. Especially when my main sweeper is going to need the extra speed. And Shuckle KO'd itself thanks to Rocky Helmet and now Toxic as well. However, Claydol has lost his Rocky Helmet and has no recovery, so kind of a wash there, but at least we cleared hazards. And he's already revealed 1 Focus Sash Pokemon, which is now gone. So at most, he has 1 more, which my team can probably take on. And he doesn't have any other Pokemon that I think would run a Focus Sash normally. But yeah, that puts Vileplume's KO to 1. Oh, and we are back with the Flygon. We don't necessarily want to keep Claydol in, because Claydol would be setup fodder for this thing if I really needed to. But it's Choice Scarf, thankfully, so all it's going to do is U-turn. Or try and go for damage. It could have tried to Outrage or something, but even that wasn't going to KO Claydol. Flygon's just not powerful enough to do that. So now we're given the opportunity to hit Stealth Rock. Alright. Comfey. Comfey can learn Defog, although I'm guessing since he's running War Turtle, this Comfey's probably isn't going to use Defog. But its ability is very annoying. It's called Triage, for those of you that don't know. And it gives priority to healing moves. So that means Giga Drain, Draining Kiss, all that stuff, it all has priority while with this Pokemon. It makes it very hard to kill if it's able to get set up. But there is one good thing. Flareon is probably the premier Pokemon to fight Comfey, actually, because of its high special defense and its resistance to its healing moves. And then its physical attacks that would overcome its Comfey's main setup with Calm Mind. Alright, predicting the Fire Punch or the Ice Punch coming off of this thing, we're going to send in Swoobat, who is mostly useless at this point. So that we can preserve our Vileplume for the Comfey, since Flareon is also mostly useless. Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Alright, it's revealed that it's using Ice Punch right now, and this is one of my bulkier circuitries, so it can probably take 1 close combat from this thing. Because it's either it's underpowered because it's not life orbed, or it's choice locked into Ice Punch right now, which definitely won't KO, even with Iron Fist. So Circuitry is a semi-safe Pokemon to put in here. And just like that, we managed to scare this thing out and bring Lily back in. Who is definitely not something I want to deal with. But we managed to put it to sleep, which is wonderful. Not only did we do that, we did that on a switch. So that means that we can just start going ham on it. Okay, considering that Dazzling Gleam without stab did so much damage already, Thunderbolt should be a KO from that point, which it is. And now we've got our Beast Boost going, but unfortunately all that means is that Flygon still forces us out. Just because one Earthquake will still be enough, even on a bulkier Circuitry to KO. Yep. In comes the Flygon again. But what is it gonna run? You'll notice one thing about my strategy right now, we're actually keeping Cryogonal in the back, because Cryogonal is single-handedly my best answer to this thing, especially with this thing Choice Scarfed. Because the moment that he locks that thing into Earthquake, Cryogonal wins. And he knows that, which is why he went for Dragon Claw. So now that he's stuck on Dragon Claw, and he's down to only that and the Hitmonchan. We can Giga Drain and drag this out, which I think is going to be the main play here. Or we can try predicting the switch. Well, we'll have to see what my opponent feels like doing. Because every time he comes into contact with Vileplume, as he's figured out already, is a luck-based thing. He could end up paralyzing this thing and making that Choice Scarf useless. You could end up putting that thing to sleep, too. I mean, poison isn't great, but it makes it easier for him to be KO'd. Oh, he's still at the Wartortle. And I guess he was expecting Toxic, maybe. But instead, we got some of our health back. And the poison doesn't quite finish this thing off. But I'm not sure what this guy can do. I mean, he's done this next turn without rest, and I am almost certain that he isn't bringing rest into here. Ooh, Rock Slide. Interesting choice. And we'll heal back what little health we can from that HP. Well, that's alright. Alright, and in comes the Hitmonchan. So we've already seen that this thing has Ice Punch. So we know that's coming. If this thing doesn't have a fighting move, then I would be very surprised. So it's either a fighting move that's going to do it, or it's going to be an ice move. Flareon resists the Ice Punch, so if it somehow lives it, which I wasn't certain at the time, but I was pretty sure it still didn't. Anyways, that's still a free switch in for me right there. And we forced it out last time with Circuitry. So, might as well go with what we had last time. And here's the best part. We can just hit Dazzling Gleam, and it doesn't matter if he switches or not. We're KOing something. Well, We might not be KOing the Flygon, but this thing's definitely done if Dazzling Gleam manages to hit it. Barely has over half its health. Alright. Down goes Rocky the Hitmonchan, and in comes the Choice Scarf Flygon to deal with 4 Pokemon, 2 of which are extremely healthy, and 1 of which is enough to KO him. And in fact, since we already know this thing is Choice Scarfed, and our Cryogonal is Choice Scarfed, Cryogonal is naturally faster than Flygon. So, we're going to swap Vileplume in to see what he decides to do for his Choice Locked attack to try and KO the rest of us. And it is Earthquake. I mean, I don't think he can win this anyways, even if he did click Dragon Claw, but at this point Earthquake is still no, because I still have Cryogonal, whose ability has to be Levitate. I did include Ice Shard on this thing just to make sure that I could outspeed the Flygon, because even with Cryogonal's low attack stat, ×4 is still ×4 weak. And I'm doubting I'm letting that thing set up for free. Alright, so for the last battle of the regular season, we managed to pull out a win, 0-4, which is nice. So that'll give us a nice boost to our differential, and as will the win. And since this is actually after all this is said and done, I did actually make it to the playoffs. What was my record? So my record was 5-4 with a differential of 12. Somebody else tied my record of 5-4, but they only had a differential of 2. But we were the bottom 2 of being qualifying, so I definitely needed that win. Although, with my differential, I actually probably still would have made it in without that win. But that's kind of why it's important to consider these things if you can. But anyways, those playoff videos are going to be a long ways away because I don't want to give my opponents any more data than I already have with these videos. So, with that being said, I look forward to having the next League of Extraordinary Trainer battle videos with you guys. Hopefully soonish. But otherwise, you guys enjoy your time, have fun with all your battles, all your videos, and I will catch you all next time.